Hi, everyone. As we all know, COVID-19 has changed the workplace drastically. Hence, Great Place to Work Philippines invited Accenture Philippines' Human Resources Talent Strategy Lead, Jenny Peralta, to share with us how she leads and ensures that Accenture has the right strategies for building and growing talent and enabling a future-ready workforce, and of course, cultivating a workplace culture where everyone is safe, seen, heard, and connected. Hi, Jenny. Thank you for making time for us and gracing us with your presence.
Thank you, Carissa. It's actually a privilege to be with you and to share, what we have in Accenture to you and your audiences as well.
Great. You know what, Jenny? Can I just say, before Accenture became Great Place to Work certified, ranking third in the Philippines' best workplaces in 2022, I've already actually been hearing how great Accenture is as an employer, but I'd like to hear from you directly. How's your experience working with Accenture and what makes it a great place to work for you?
Well, first of all, thank you for your kind words. It's nice to know that, externally we have a very positive, should we say, employer brand. And it's not so far from the truth. Actually, it is the truth, right? So being an Accenture, if I may say, is a grace for me because it not only allows me to do my work, but to also pursue the passion that I have, which is to create positive impact in people's lives. And cliche as it may sound, it's what Accenture really puts at the front and center. Okay, the care for its employee, ensuring that they're going to be the best and they thrive in an organization that's going to care for them and allow them to be empowered and be the best employee that they can be.
Well, no wonder why Accenture is certified and ranking third in the Philippines' best workplaces in its first year. Jenny, as we all know, this pandemic brought us a lot of challenges in the workplace, and one of them is keeping employees engaged. Now, how did you manage to keep employees engaged despite the several changes the pandemic brought about?
I think a lot of HR practitioners like me would say it's not an easy experience, right? Because the pandemic is something that no one is ready for. The good thing is that Accenture has this framework that we call Net Better Off, and that allowed us or guided us in the way we have created talent solutions that would keep our employees not only engaged but stay productive, healthy, and safe as they are going through the new world that's brought about by the pandemic as well. And if I may just share further, okay, this Net Better Off really takes a look at what we call six fundamental needs of employees. These are them being employable, okay, financially secured. We take a look at the physical, emotional, mental wellness of as well. And there's this purposeful dimension that caters to them being able to pursue their passion and aspiration. I guess it would be great to further expound on what each of the dimensions means. So on the employable part, we try, of course, to provide as much developmental support as we can to our employees so that they can grow in their career, but not just that, hone their skills and capabilities enough to keep them marketable and also knowledgeable, not just about the current skill requirement of their job, but the higher value skills that will stay relevant in the ever-changing landscape of work. And as we build those capabilities, we know that hand in hand with it, we ensure that the rewards and benefits that's given them, okay, is something that would provide security for them, not just in the short term, but on a long-term basis. So taking care of the financial element of the Net Better Off frame. Okay, and while those are the tangible support that we provide for our employees, as I've said earlier, Accenture putting the employees at the front and center means that we put much importance to caring for their mental, emotional, and relational needs. So those are the three other dimensions. So we have a lot of programs that cater to cater to their needs. There's much focus even on providing talent solutions programs, both locally and globally, that would allow our employees to thrive well in an environment where there's so much stress, in an environment where there's basically a blurring of the borders already of work and life, and also where at the time during the pandemic, we are constrained or actually restrained to stay at our homes. We try to ensure that even the physical component of their well-being is cared for through the communities that we sponsor. There are nutrition programs that are put in place. In fact, right now we do have what we call cognitive nutrition, that's launched globally, enabling our employees to learn micro steps, as we say, little steps that add value to how you do things, enabling you to be empowered, to be holistic, to care, to be resilient, at the same time, feel safe and secure, despite of where you work or however you work. And lastly, of course, the other fundamental need is that of having purpose in all that we do. Right. So we are very mindful of employees' passion. So Accenture it has a lot of agility. Therefore, you could sense from that based on the agility, there's high drive for performance. Okay, but nevertheless, what keeps our people resilient, staying motivated and passionate to keep that excellence level is the fact that in what we do, we are mindful that this is intertwined with the aspirations, as well as putting purpose and meaning to all the actions that we put together to ensure that we're not just pursuing careers this time, but adding value to ourselves, to our community, and the people who are very relevant to us. So as you can see, Carissa, in all of that, um, we're basically working or operating in a way that our approach is very deliberate and purposeful to cater to the six fundamental needs, that at the end of it we can really say that employees are net better off.
Great. It's amazing to know that Accenture was able to build a framework on how to unlock the potential of its people and its business. Now, allow me to ask you one of the most talked about topic nowadays, the future of work. What is Accenture's approach to building the future of work?
While the future of work is something that may sound like just a plan for a long term, right? For the future of work. In Accenture, it is actually a global initiative. It's a global program that we call Frictionless Future of Work, which started basically with gathering insights, okay, from our employees, from our clients, and of course the stakeholders of the organization to understand what kind of processes, systems, and guidelines are we going to create to ensure that the new ways of working and the future of work is redefined in consideration of what's relevant to the employees and that of the organization. So when the future of work had been designed, there are what we call key tenets that had been shared. So while this is a global program, each of the country were actually given the leeway to incorporate the employee sentiments, our local policies, guidelines, and even our organizational uniqueness in terms of our work processes and systems into the design. So such that while we're working on the tenets, we ensure that how we design the experience is relevant and attuned to our country. Okay, so with those tenets, I must say one of the key pillars in designing the future of work is enabling flexibility. Flexibility in our people to ensure that we support both the well-being and the productivity in office and in life. And while we enable flexibility, we try to ensure that not a one size fits all. We we incorporate and listen to employee preferences and needs while being mindful, of course, of the business requirements to keep us resilient and sustainable as an organization. And in all of these principles, there are frameworks that are designed to guide our leaders in how we do things. We put importance still in in-person connection time, ensuring that we are very deliberate in creating experiences that are omni-connected.
But Jenny, among the five key global approaches of Accenture that you shared towards the future of work, what's lingering in my head now is the omni-connected experience you mentioned. Can you tell us more about this Omni-Connected experience? And is it something that organizations can easily adapt?
I think organizations are practicing it already. It's just that Accenture is more deliberate about it and purposeful in designing the experience. And Omni Connected is basically a complete experience of work, right? Where people remain to feel included, be seen, safe, and heard, regardless of the physical location. So omni connectivity is really activating that equal and frictionless kind of an experience that transcends border. Okay, and generally, when we talk of omni connection, we try to leverage on technology too, right? Using these tools to ensure that, um, the borders or the distances are kind of blurred or taken away because the connection is still differ, or it's basically, should we say, the connections in a way are real life, in essence, because of the use of this technology. Now, how can organization bring omni connection to life? Maybe I could share three key things. One is basically designing to innovate for complexity. So as you create the future of work, while we do have specific strategies, just know that everybody should have that holistic view, and a scan of the entity as well as the employees. Okay? Because as you will understand that, then you know that there are different layers of the design component that you would have to put in. And in creating that, you're basically empowering an organization through its people. That's why the second key component is important too, which is investing in relationship. Now, more than ever, there's a need for deeper connections, for people to stay resilient and productive. And we know that resilient employees are actually the ones that empower and propel organizations to be sustainable and to be better at where they're at. So we invest so much in relationship. And that is one key in designing the future of work. And lastly, as I've alluded to earlier, it's bringing together humans and technology. Okay, we do know right now that they can complement each other and create more sustainable and agile ways, in creating better workplaces, as I may say, where people can thrive because they feel that they're seen, heard, connected, and have a sense of belonging regardless of where they are.
Danny, since we're talking about future of work, what about for those leaders who are still reluctant in adapting to the new normal? So, if you can give a piece of advice to leaders who are struggling to keep up with the future of work, what will that advice be?
Well, one would say the struggles could really be not understanding what's out there, right? Or what is yet to come. But really, one of the elements that we just try to practice is be attuned to our employee needs, understand where they are, but while, of course, being attuned as well to the changes in the market. So it's an understanding of the dynamics, of the organization, of the employee. We try to leverage on data as well, just to ensure that our actions are, of course, backed up by the right systems, by the right data, so that eventually we can lead the people to where we want them to be, as well as that of the organization. But one key thing there is we have to enable leaders that are, should we say, modern leaders. Right? These are the ones who have greater empathy, leaders who can be compassionate in the way they talk to their people, the way they lead their people, such that trust is something that grows organically in an organization. Because then that would lead to a thriving culture where people are enabled and empowered to speak out, to have the courage to change, to innovate, to fail and make, to fail and make mistakes, because that's the one that would propel them to explore new things, to innovate and go to greater heights. And in doing so, you're basically enabling an agile organization where people are empowered with the tools that they have, whether it be technology, whether it be support systems through people, or the guidelines that we set up in identifying what we call a future of work that's omni-connected and worthy for people to thrive in an inclusive workplace.
I also learned a lot from you today. Now, if I can sum up what I learned from you, Jenny, it will be the key to the success of the future of work is by establishing a people-first culture. Again, Jenny, thank you so much for your time. Well, if you want to know more about Accenture, please visit www.greatplacetowork.com.ph. Again, thank you so much, Jenny, for your time, and catch up with you again soon. Bye.